Before we dive in, drop a quick best story in the comments. It may seem small, but trust me, it really helps YouTube share this story with more sci-fi fans like us. I love to see who's watching and know you're on this journey with me. Let's get started and see where this battle takes us. The breach charge is ignited with a dull thump, followed by a violent hiss of decompressing air. Go, go, move! Commander Alvarez's voice snapped like a whip as the pressure door blew inward, revealing the pitch-black interior of the enemy dreadnought. Sergeant Way led the charge, boots hammering against alloy decking, rifle sweeping in smooth arcs. Clear left, he barked. Private Reyes took point beside him, her breath sharp in the comms. Right clear, no heat signatures. That was the first bad sign. Alien ships usually fought to the last pulse, their soldiers as relentless as their polished strategies. But this one, the flagship of the Ternexian fleet, sat in orbit above Mars like a lion playing dead. Eyes up, Alvarez ordered. Bridge is 4 decks up. Stick to the mission. The corridors were too clean. No signs of battle, no crew, just the hum of unfamiliar tech and the distant pulse of the ship's core. Way's gut twisted. Something's wrong. They're letting us in. He checked his HUD. Still no contacts. But his hand tightened on the trigger anyway. This was supposed to be humanity's first counterstrike, a precision raid to disable the Ternexian shield array and turn the tide. Sergeant, Reyes whispered, you feel that? The deck shuddered. Not an explosion. Something moved below them. They reached the data core. A dull blue glow lit the chamber, 7 vertical tubes of swirling energy. A technician, Patel, unpacked the EMP device and set it against the terminal. I need 3 minutes, she said, fingers flying across alien consoles. Then came the scream. It wasn't human. It wasn't even animal. It was a chorus, high, clicking, digital, and it came from behind the walls. We turned. Contact rear, T-junction! Figures emerged. Armor that looked Terran, weapons too, but the way they moved, mechanical in sync, wasn't human. Hold fire, what the hell? Reyes stepped forward, visor trembling. Sergeant, I know that armor, that's 51st Recon. They went missing a year ago. The lead soldier raised his rifle. Drop your weapons. This ship is under Terran authority. You are in violation of Sovereign Accord 9-13. Terran what? Way snapped. You're us. What the hell happened to you? No answer. Just more soldiers stepping into formation, weapons humming with energy. Orders? Reyes hissed. Alvarez stepped forward, calm and clear. We finished the mission. She leveled her rifle at the nearest imposter. Fire! Now! Question. Are these soldiers traitors, brainwashed, or something worse? Quick recap. A Terran strike team boards a Ternexian dreadnought to plant an EMP. But inside, they encounter human soldiers thought dead, now guarding the enemy. Blaster fire erupted in a thunderstorm of light and metal. Reyes, flank left, Alvarez shouted, crouched behind a glowing conduit. The imposter Marines moved with unnatural precision, heads tilting in sync, firing bursts too clean, too timed. We dove across the core platform, dragging Patel with him as plasma bolts scorched the floor. The EMP? It's armed, Patel screamed, but we won't get the signal off at this rate. We cursed. We need a distraction. He lobbed a flash grenade into the center of the room. Bang! Light ripped through the chamber. The hostiles hesitated. Exactly 3 seconds. It was enough. Reyes sprinted toward the device, yanking open the targeting relay. Her eyes locked on the soldiers. I know that voice, she muttered. What? The lead Marine. He said that Accord code. That's classified, level red. Only internal black sites use it. Only if they were still working for us, Way finished. A scream cut through the radio, not from the enemy. Patel clutched her side. She'd been hit. Alvarez grabbed her under the arms and dragged her to cover, face twisted with fury. You don't shoot your own, she spat. The lead Marine stepped forward. He pulled off his helmet. Way froze. Dalton. The face was unmistakable. Lieutenant Isaac Dalton, MIA on Jupiter's moons 2 years ago. A ghost. His eyes were wrong, dilated, vacant, but still human. You shouldn't have come here, Sergeant. Earth doesn't need rescuing. He raised his rifle again. Reyes stood up, exposed. Dalton, what did they do to you? His mouth twitched. Earth signed the accord. The war is over. You're the invaders now. Alvarez fired first. Her shot hit Dalton square in the chest, but his armor absorbed it, glowing briefly before dimming. What the hell was that? Way shouted. Adaptive shields, Reyes muttered. Tonexian tech. Dalton didn't flinch. He pointed to the EMP device. You can't disable the network. It is Earth now. The deck shook. Above them, the flagship's dorsal cannons roared to life. Commander, that's a targeting lock, Patel whispered. They're going to fire on our fleet. Alvarez made the call without blinking. Blow the core now. Reyes hesitated, fingers on the trigger. Dalton spoke again softly. Do that and you'll kill everyone still loyal to Earth, including your families. Reyes's hands shook. How do you know that? He smiled. Because I spoke to them this morning. Question, has Earth already surrendered? And who's really giving the orders now? Recap. Dalton, an MIA Marine thought dead, just claimed Earth signed a peace accord and the Terran fleet is now the real enemy. Meanwhile, the team must decide whether to trigger the EMP and risk killing their own. Reyes froze, fingers trembling over the trigger. Dalton's words echoed through her helmet. I spoke to them this morning. Her sister lived in New Boston. Her nephew went to the academy. Alvarez barked, Reyes, detonate the core now! But Reyes didn't move. What if he's right? She asked, voice cracking. What if Earth did sign something behind our backs? What if... Alvarez stormed over and grabbed her by the collar. This is war. You don't get to pause for a heart-to-heart mid-battle. Commander! Way cut in, lowering his weapon slightly. We need to know before we kill everyone we swore to protect. Dalton watched, eerily calm. You don't believe me, that's fine. But check your comms. You'll find an open diplomatic transmission, sealed to Earth Gov channels only. Alvarez glared. That's classified. So is the fact that Earth surrendered 6 days ago, Dalton said. The room fell silent. Reyes connected to the encrypted relay. Her eyes widened. A voice came through, clear, steady, unmistakable. And in accordance with Accord 9-13, Earth will transition to a Ternexian protectorate. All further resistance will be deemed treason under joint authority. She ripped off her helmet, gasping like she'd been punched. Way's voice cracked. They sold us out. Dalton lowered his rifle. We didn't lose, he said. We joined. Humanity gets to survive. No more dead colonies, no more orbital glassings. And the price? Alvarez growled. Dalton's smile faded. Obedience, that's the price. Reyes stepped back, eyes wide. That's not survival, that's occupation. Dalton said nothing. The comms flared. Admiral Vargas, still with the fleet, came through. Alvarez status report. The dreadnought's charging weapons. You have 30 seconds. Patel groaned, barely conscious, clutching the EMP remote. It's armed. Just say the word. Way looked to Reyes. Do we kill Earth's only chance at peace? She whispered. Or do we give up everything we fought for? Alvarez didn't hesitate. She snatched the detonator and hurled it to the floor. Not yet, she growled. We bring this ship back. We show the fleet what they tried to bury. Dalton raised an eyebrow. You'll never make it off the bridge alive. That's the plan, she replied. Question. Can they survive long enough to expose the truth? And will anyone believe it if they do? Recap. Commander Alvarez refuses to detonate the EMP. Instead, she leads her team in a daring move, hijack the dreadnought and return it to Earth to reveal the truth. Now they're descending into the heart of a world that might already be lost. The stolen dreadnought tore through Earth's atmosphere like a sword of vengeance. Hold vector! Alvarez shouted over the rumble of breaking clouds. Ground defenses are tracking us. Reyes, spoof their friend or foe tags. I'm trying, Reyes barked, fingers dancing across the hacked Ternexian interface. But their codes are using hybrid encryption. This is our tech, mixed with theirs. The realization twisted in her gut. Someone on Earth helped them. On the bridge, the wounded Patel monitored the comms. We're being hailed, multiple channels, ones from High Command, Earth Gov itself. Alvarez narrowed her eyes. Ignore it. Plot a landing outside New Boston Industrial Zone. We stood at the viewport. I was born 30 clicks from there. Place used to feel like home. The dreadnought crashed into a junk field east of the city, kicking up dust, fire, and panic. By the time the loading ramp dropped, squads of Earthborn militia were converging on their location, armored, armed, and human. Alvarez raised her rifle. Rules of engagement? "We don't shoot unless fired upon," she said, then added, "But if they shoot first, burn it down." They moved fast. Through alleys and abandoned loading docks, civilians peeked from windows, fear etched into every face. A child stared at Reyes, eyes wide, then pulled his mother back inside without a word. "They think we're the invaders," she whispered. "No," Way muttered. "They're afraid of who told them that." At a shattered commuter station, Reyes accessed a public network terminal. What she found stopped her cold. Images of Dalton, of Earth Gov leaders shaking hands with Tenexian dignitaries. Propaganda. Peace through partnership. Safety through supervision. Disobedience is extinction. "This isn't just a treaty," Reyes said. "It's a regime." Alvarez knelt beside her. "Get this footage copied. Broadcast it fleet-wide, coded, scrambled, whatever it takes." Before Reyes could respond, she froze. Two silhouettes appeared across the plaza. Human, armed, but something about them was wrong. No insignia, no fear. We raised his rifle. "They're not militia, they're too quiet." Then the first one spoke. "You shouldn't have come back." Reyes whispered, "No way." She stepped forward slowly. Captain Soren. It was her old CO, killed in the Europa counteroffensive. She had watched his drop pod vaporize. He smiled, cold, hollow. "Earth didn't fall, Reyes, it evolved." From the rooftops, railguns locked on. Question: what exactly has Earth evolved into, and how deep does the conspiracy go? The rooftops erupted. "Down!" Alvarez shouted as railgun blasts sheared through concrete. "We dragged Reyes behind a collapsed fountain." "That's your old commander. You said he died on Europa." "He did, I saw it. His pod went critical." "Well, he's got great aim for a ghost," Way snapped, slamming a fresh mag into his rifle. The two welcoming party soldiers advanced with eerie precision. Like Dalton, their moves were too smooth, their eyes too empty. Alvarez took point, firing tight bursts. Not militia, not human anymore. "Cybernetic augmentation?" Reyes asked. "Worse, neural syncing," Alvarez muttered. "Tenexian tech." Soren's voice echoed through the plaza. "You should have stayed in orbit, Reyes. This isn't your Earth anymore." Reyes shouted back, "Then whose is it?" Silence. "Then ours, the ones who chose survival over ego, integration over extinction." The plaza lit with red strobes. A Tenexian hover-dread descended overhead, blotting out the morning sun. More hybrid soldiers dropped from its hull like shadows, half human, half machine. Patel's voice crackled through comms. "They're jamming signals, our fleet's dark. If you've got a broadcast plan, now's the time." Reyes looked at the nearby relay tower, cables snaking up into the smog. "That tower uplink feeds into the satellite grid," she said. "We can override it, send everything. The Dreadnought data, Dalton's confession, the Earth Gov surrender. All of it." We nodded. "You'll have maybe 30 seconds before they trace it." Alvarez covered their push across the plaza. "Make 'em count." Reyes sprinted. Blasts ripped past her. She leapt into the tower station and slammed her drive into the console. The interface flickered, then accepted her credentials. "All ones her own?" "They didn't revoke my clearance," she muttered. "Why?" The file directory loaded. There it was, a dossier stamped with a sigil she didn't recognize. Project Ascension, Genotypic Compliance Directive. Her blood ran cold. Inside, thousands of human DNA scans, matching records, predictive models. Files tagged viable, others tagged non-integrable. "What is this?" she whispered. A line of text scrolled across the screen. "Earth's survival requires a unified genome. Integration begins with elimination of resistance." She hit transmit. Outside, Alvarez shouted, "They're charging plasma repeaters, 10 seconds. A voice came from the tower entrance. "Dalton. No weapon, just eyes locked on Reyes." "You had to know eventually," he said softly. "You think they chose peace because we begged? No, we qualified, and not everyone does." Reyes stepped away from the console, fists clenched. "You're exterminating the rest." Dalton nodded, almost regretfully. "Survival isn't free." The tower erupted in light. The broadcast was out. Across the system, ships, bases, civilians, everyone saw the truth. But the price? The Ternexian fleet just changed posture. Earth was now at war with everyone. The sky was on fire. In the control tower, Reyes watched it all unfold. "They're coming," Patel whispered, still weak, lying on a makeshift cot beside her. "Fleet-wide response, mutinies, breakaways, uprisings, but it won't be enough." Alvarez stepped beside her. "Then we push harder." Below, Ternexian dropships rained like needles of light. Reinforcements for their loyalist puppets. Hybrid soldiers surged through the streets. Reyes stared at the map. "We need a single target, something symbolic, something loud." We pointed at the new Boston Spire, Earth Grov's primary node. "If we take that, we cut their ability to coordinate." Alvarez nodded. "Rally who we can. This ends tonight." The assault was chaos. Every hallway, every plaza was blood and smoke. The spire, once a monument to unity, now stood as the command post of Earth's betrayal. Reyes's squad breached the lower levels, pushing floor by floor. Behind them, more rebels poured in. Dalton waited on the top level, standing alone beside the central uplink. "You think taking this tower will change anything?" he asked, almost tired. Reyes raised her rifle. "It already has." He didn't draw. "They offered us a future." "You call this a future?" she snapped. "This is a machine made of humans with the soul ripped out." Dalton looked down. "I was scared. After Jupiter, I thought we were done. They showed me peace." Reyes lowered her weapon. "You saw slavery and called it peace. I see fire and call it freedom." He smiled, sadly. "You always were the loud one." Alvarez appeared behind him. "Step away from the console." Dalton paused, then stepped aside. "Finish it," he said. Reyes did. She connected her drive. A second pulse went out, this one weaponized. All networked hybrid soldiers on Earth froze mid-step. Their eyes flickered, then they fell. The city fell silent. Above, the Ternexian fleet opened fire on Earth. But they weren't alone anymore. Rogue Terran warships surged from the far side of Luna, captains who disobeyed, civilians who stole freighters, 100 tiny acts of rebellion forming a wall. The sky lit up, and for once, Earth answered back. The Ternexian fleet blinked, then jumped away. For now. The aftermath was ash and hope. Alvarez stood with Reyes and Way in the ruins of the spire. "We held the line," she said. Reyes shook her head. "No, we drew it." We stared at the horizon. "So what now?" Reyes looked up, past the smoke into the stars. "We rebuild on our terms." Then she turned to the comms and hit record. "To the galaxy. Earth's not yours. We're done being quiet. You've had your say." She leaned into the mic. "Now sit down and listen. Humanity's strength has been tested, but the war is far from over. If you want to see where this fight goes next, hit like, comment, We Endure, and follow this channel so you don't miss the next story. Until next time, remember, we don't go quietly. We make the stars listen.